Today we're going to take this milk jug and make it into a flower vase. Hi, I'm Myra with Boutique Paint. I bought these from Ikea, and originally for this project I wanted to use the floral galvanized vases or flower holders, and I went to look for mine and I can't find it because I have my workspace torn apart because of adding the 2 feet at the end of my shed here. So I'm going to use this week. But you could use one of those flower tins. These have been painted and they're quite shiny, so I'm just going to go ahead and scuff this up with a sanding pad. And I'm going to go over the entire surface because I'm going to paint this. And I want the paint to stick to this. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a paper towel and some rubbing alcohol and clean this off, because there's probably oils from my own hands, anybody else's hands. Just going around and cleaning it off. So I'm going to use Lover of Flowers Transfer for this. I'm going to use this one right here. So I want to bring out a little bit of the color, but I also don't want it, I want it to be able to show. And we're going to do 2 colors here. So I'm going to paint up to this line here. And then we're going to paint the top part a different color. And I'm going to use Farm Fresh. If you watched last week's video, you would have heard me talk about the fact that I was adding 2 feet extra to my workspace. And because I had a rolling door at one end, and I insulated it from the inside and all this stuff, and so it took away 2 full feet at the end of my building. Well, I need that 2 feet. So we built a wall, and I turned this workbench so that now I have natural light coming in, which is really nice. But I was not able to put everything away, so like some of my shelves are sitting right in the middle of the building. Just turning this work table one direction or to the new end of the building, I am just totally lost. I thought this will be easy because I'm going to just set it up the same way. I'm just going to turn my whole setup from facing the west to facing the south. Easy, right? Well, not for a dyslexic brain. My brain's just like, no, I don't know where anything is now. It's right where it was before when it was facing the other direction. It's just, for some reason, I'm having a time of it. So next what I did is I mixed up a 50-50 of weathered wood and Summer Crush DIY paint to kind of get an orangey brown. And then I added a little bit more of the Summer Crush. So that was just to test it, and this is the color it's coming out. But I want to mix up, you know, enough to actually paint the top of this. I just wanted a little bit lighter of a brown. I didn't want it as dark as weathered wood. So that's why I'm mixing it together. So this time I just started out with a little bit more of Summer Crush than the weathered wood. So maybe 40% weathered wood and 60% of Summer Crush. This is kind of my feel of it. Okay, that's not completely mixed. That's okay. It's not gonna hurt anything just to go ahead and get it on here. And I'm going to want to get the inside rim of this just so it looks good from all angles. You could certainly leave it if you wanted to. So I've got a second coat of the brown on there, and it'll take a third coat to get it where I want it to. But now I want to take a little bit of the Summer Crush, and I'm just going to go along here and just kind of add some orange in here. And then I'm going to tip it up, which is going to make it hard for you to see, but I'll flip it down once I'm done. And I'm going to take my spray bottle, and I'm going to spray the brown and the orange so it starts dripping. And add some more orange around the back. You can see it's dripping down there. And you're just kind of making a puddly mess, as you can see. Okay, now I'm going to grab a paper towel and set that on there. But I'm going to let it dry just for a few minutes before we move on. So now you can see what this has created. It kind of makes a rust look around the can. I'm going to add a little bit more of the weathered wood to what's left of my mixture. Just to kind of, I think I want it a little bit darkened up now. And from this point, we're not really trying to get perfection painted on here because we've got the orange. I'll lay it down so you can see it better. We got the orange in there, we got the brown. So now we just want to kind of add a third color. But you can see I'm not painting the entire thing. I do want to get that kind of yellow that's underneath painted over. So next, along this stripe, I want to paint a stripe of the new juniper, of course, because I love this color. If you don't have a natural stripe like I have across here, you could take painter's tape and mask it off. And I'm going to cut just this part out. You could always add the words if that's what you would like to do. But I think for this, I just want to do this part. And you can always, you know, add to. If you put it on there and you're like, yeah, that's not exactly what I need more, then add more. And then I'm just gonna line this up so it's kind of right along that stripe. And always remember that your paint needs to be dry before you add a transfer. And we're just going to take the sheet it was on and just rub it, burnish it on. So I'm going to put a top coat over the top of this just because it's probably going to have water in it. You could always put dried flowers in, but if you're going to use it for, you know, like a bouquet, it's best to seal it with something other than wax. So I'm using, you could use either Big Top, I'm using liquid patina. I'm just going to go over the entire thing. This part right here doesn't need it, but because the transfer went over the top, I'm going to go ahead and hit it also. So the top coat left this shiny, and I don't really want it shiny. And on top of that, I want to go ahead and put some dark and decrepit dust on this. So I'm going to go ahead and go over the whole thing with wax to take down the shine a little bit. But so I can add the dust. Get a little bit of dust in here. Okay, so I'm going to just take some of the dark and decrepit dust, put it on a brush, and I'm just going to kind of put a little bit on here. And I'm going to do different things. I'm going to do some swipes up. I'm going to do some pouncing. So I'm going to kind of go up this a little bit. Same on this side. And then we're going to take a paper towel. And I don't want to take too much of that off. I want it to stay on there. So I'm just going to barely. And you can do some dark and decrepit on the brown. It's not going to show up quite as much, but it will be there. And I'll do some up in here. And then I think that's where I'm going to call it good. Yeah, maybe just a little bit in here. This is definitely an option. You could also do the white dust if you wanted to make it a little bit lighter. But we're kind of trying to make it a little bit on the antique-y side. Vintage and funky. But that's it for this week. If you have any questions, you can go to our website at www.boutiquepaint.com. And thank you so much for joining me. Bye.